back to the Ghosty Girls. This is the first episode of 2025.
Happy New Year.
So crazy. I
Sorry.
can't believe it's a new year already. Like, what?
2025 better be way better than 2024.
Oh my God. 2024 sucked.
Not as bad as 2020, but like it's pretty fucking close.
Yeah, it's very fucking close. But also I do feel kind of like we went back in time. You know?
Yeah. You had a year that was like sort of okay in 2023, and 2024 was like, haha, JK.
Yeah.
Fuck y'all.
2024 was like, you guys can all suck a dick.
I mean, it just shoved it down our throat.
It did. Well, there's no real way that I can segue into this just because it's really fucked up and it's really disturbing. And this is going to be a rough one.
We're diving in.
We're just diving in. But, you know, I just want to put a warning. This one's rough. You need to have a strong stomach for this one.
If you don't have a strong stomach, apparently, then we'll see you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's fine to be one.
But yeah, I wanted to start the new year off strong, you know,
with the bang banger.
This is something.
All right, I'm ready. No banter for us today. Let's just dive in.
On the morning of February 23rd, 2022. So this is recent.
Fuck.
At 2:30 a.m., a woman named Tara Packenick, who lived in Green Bay, Wisconsin, was awakened when a door in her home loudly slammed. Now, she lived in her home with her boyfriend, Steve Hendricks, and her 24-year-old son named Shad Thyrion.
Shad with an SH?
Yes, Shad. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Shad lived in the basement part of the house, and Tara decided to go downstairs to check to see if he was home because she heard a sound.
Right.
While she was in the basement, she discovered a green bucket with a bath towel covering it. Curious as to what the fuck was going on down in that basement, she lifted the bath towel. To her shock and horror, inside the bucket, staring back at her, was the decapitated head of her son, Shad.
What?
So Tara was freaking the fuck out at this point. So much so that she couldn't even barely speak. Like, she was just losing her mind. So her boyfriend, Steve, was the one that called 911. And in the 911 call, you can clearly hear how disturbed both Steve and the 911 operator are. The 911 operator was pretty shocked at the story of a woman finding the severed head of her own son in a bucket in her basement. And they actually asked Steve if it was possible that Tara was hallucinating or if it could possibly be a fake head, like a joke. So they sent officers out. One of them was named Alex Wanish, who went down into the basement, found the green bucket, lifted the bath towel, and confirmed that it was indeed the decapitated head of Shad Thyrion in the bucket. He was actually wearing a body cam at the time.
Oh, no.
And the footage of this it's online. I watched the trial, and I would definitely recommend watching this clip of the trial because it's fucking wild.
You see the head?
While they're playing this, they don't show the head.
Okay.
You know, you can see the officer going down into the basement. You can hear his commentary, all that. But, I mean, obviously the jury and the judge and everybody in the courtroom can see.
Right.
And the look on the officer's face and the look on the judge's face as they see the head in the bucket it's surreal. Like, even the judge is like, you can see in his face, he's like, holy fuck.
You can probably see the color green from their face.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I would recommend watching, if you don't watch any of the trial, just watch that one part because it's like, I don't know, it's just chilling. The footage is on YouTube and it's safe. You're not going to see the head in the bucket, but I mean, you see everybody's reaction and like I said, it's chilling. Now, watching this footage, other than the reactions, what really stood out to me was the lack of blood at the crime scene. Like, me personally, I would expect if you found a decapitated head in a bucket, you would probably find a shit ton of blood everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Like, all over the floor. But there wasn't much. Also missing from the scene was other body parts, although officers did note what appeared to be a little bit of blood and chunks of flesh by the mattress that was on the floor.
Ugh.
Yeah. So they call for backup because they know that this is for real and that this is bad. They spoke with Shad's mother, and they were able to determine that, you know, the head was Shad's. I guess he saw a picture. The officer saw a picture and was like, that's him. So after talking with Shad's mother, officers were able to determine that Shad had been spending time with a girl that he had been loosely dating, hanging out with, I guess. A girl by the name of Taylor. First name Taylor, last name
Swift.
Schabusiness.
Stop.
Taylor Schabusiness.
Schabusiness. That's her real name?
Now it is. Now her name is Schabusiness. Taylor Schabusiness was born Tara Coronado to parents Marla and Arturo Coronado on November 23rd, 1997 in Chicago, Illinois. I'm going to quote Bailey Sarian on this because I watched one of her...
Love her.
I watched her episode on Taylor Schabusiness, and when she said her birthday, she said, she's a Sagittarius, but we're not claiming her.
That's fair.
So I'm not trying to rip off Bailey Sarian, but that quote was really funny.
Well, you're giving her the credit.
I had to throw that in there.
Absolutely. Quote to the queen.
Yeah.
Wait, not quote to the queen. Props to the queen.
Hail to the queen.
Hail. Even better.
So Taylor's family eventually moved to Wisconsin, and Taylor's mother, Marla, apparently suffered from alcoholism and died in her sleep in 2009 when Taylor was just 12 years old. And apparently she died due to cirrhosis of the liver, which is a complication of alcoholism that can kill you. One interesting fact that I found in my research is that Taylor's father apparently found Marla dead in bed on a morning that the kids were supposed to go to school, but he hid this from them and got them off to school before reporting his wife's death. So their mom was essentially laying in bed dead. He didn't want to tell them, so he got them off to school and then called the authorities. I mean, I get it, but I also don't get it. That's very weird to me. Like, he acted like everything was fine, and then they get home and they find out that she had died. I don't really know how to react to that.
I don't know if I'm mad at that or if I'm like proud of him for doing that. Do you know what I mean? Like, give them one last normal type of day.
I guess.
I don't know.
I don't know. Taylor's father, Arturo, pretty much immediately married another woman, which was pretty traumatic for Taylor. And this woman also had children of her own, so I'm sure that did nothing to help matters. Like, that's a lot of change for a 12-year-old. Your mom dies, your dad immediately remarries, and then you have step siblings. That's a lot to unpack as a 12-year-old. Lot of change.
I mean, even as an adult, that's a lot.
That's a lot, yeah. Since childhood, Taylor suffered from mental health problems, behavioral issues, as well as ADHD, and was subsequently prescribed mood stabilizers, antipsychotics, and antidepressants. So she was on a lot of meds from a young age.
Got it.
In 2021, a year before the murder of Shad Thyrion, Taylor was hospitalized for a suicide attempt and was then diagnosed with PTSD and also bipolar disorder. So on top of all of her other diagnoses, she also had bipolar on top of that.
That's a lot.
She had a lot of shit going on. And at that point, she had started using drugs.
Oh, no.
Like meth.
Shit.
Which did not do any favors for her mental health.
Well, no.
For obvious reasons.
Right.
Yeah. Taylor eventually met a man named Warren Shabau, who was a drug dealer. And the two began dating and ultimately married on February 14, 2020, Valentine's Day. Now, you're probably thinking, Shabau, that sounds a lot like Schabusiness, right?
I was.
And there is a connection. Apparently, Warren, her drug dealer husband, thought it would be funny for Taylor to change her name to Schabusiness instead of Shabao after marrying him. And Taylor agreed. Thus, the new name of Schabusiness.
I mean, it is funny. He was right.
I mean, it's very it's very on par for meth. Like, I know it sounds awful, but like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
You're on meth. You're married to a drug dealer. Of course, you're going to change your name to Schabusiness. Why would you not?
I mean, I'm not on meth, and I think it's hysterical. I don't know, but yeah, that is right on brand.
Mm-hmm. Now, by all accounts, her marrying Warren, this is where things seem to really go downhill for Taylor. She was no longer on her meds, and she now had a consistent supply of meth. I mean, a drug user being married to a drug dealer, that's like a dream come true. I mean, she's always got access to drugs now.
Or a nightmare.
Mm-hmm. So Taylor got deeper and deeper into drugs, specifically meth. And this is where Taylor's legal problems began. With her first one being a felony arrest on June 21st, 2020 for resisting arrest and battery on a police officer. And this apparently stemmed from her being out of her mind on meth and having the cops called on her because I guess she was wandering around, knocking on people's doors.
Oh.
Yeah, she was like in a meth-induced psychosis. You know, you've seen videos of people in like Kensington and all that. It's not a pretty sight.
I saw an actual person walking down the street
Mm-hmm.
in my, what used to be quaint little town.
Oh yeah,
Clearly,
it's drugs are really, really bad now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He was talking to himself and flailing. I was nervous just driving past him.
Well, yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
And this is what Taylor was doing. Somebody called the cops on her, and you know, she was essentially arrested. And for this, she was only put on 3 years probation and was ordered to undergo a psychological evaluation, which I feel like is a little lenient for resisting arrest and battery on an officer.
Yes.
But I don't know.
It was her first offense, though. Right?
Yeah. And she was a white female, so that probably had something to do with it.
True.
Sorry, I mean, it's just, it
Sorry,
is what
not
it
sorry,
is. It's a
yeah.
fact. In August of 2020, Taylor was involved in a high-speed chase after attempting to flee from a routine traffic stop. When police eventually were able to stop her, they found a syringe kit and drugs in her car, which tested positive for methamphetamine. So for this, she was charged with eluding an officer, obstructing an officer, possession of drug paraphernalia, and also violating her probation from her previous felony just 2 months prior. In the midst of all this, Taylor discovered that her and her husband Warren were expecting.
Fuck.
And in October of 2021, Taylor gave birth to her son, who was promptly taken away from her by CPS exactly 1 day after his birth. So that kid was born into shit already. Luckily, Taylor's grandmother, Esther Coronado, stepped up and adopted the baby boy. So at least the baby has some stability because Taylor and Warren were not going to be providing that, obviously. So that brings us to January of 2022 when Taylor is sentenced for the high-speed chase that she was involved in before the birth of her son. So for the charges of eluding an officer, obstruction, possession, and probation violation, she received only 3 months in jail, which was ultimately reduced to house arrest and 2 years probation. So she didn't even have to serve jail time. She just had an ankle bracelet, which I don't even, whatever.
I'm just shaking my head in silence over here.
Just 1 month later, Taylor would have her third and final brush with the law, which was the murder of Shad Thyrion. So if she would have been in jail, this wouldn't have happened. But yay, legal system, right?
So she done it.
Yeah. So before we get into that night and the trial, let's take a moment to talk about the victim, Shad Thyrion. Shad Thyrion was born on September 7th, 1997 to parents Tara Packenick and Michael Thyrion in Green Bay, Wisconsin. He had 2 sisters and 1 brother. Shad was described by his family as a kind and compassionate person who enjoyed spending time with family, camping, and he also had an interest in music and wood carving. He also attended high school with Taylor Schabusiness, and they went to Bayport High. So this is how they knew each other.
Okay.
They had known each other back in high school. They were also the same age, 24. According to Taylor, her and Shad were just sexual partners and nothing more than that. So they weren't officially a couple or anything. I did see a lot of articles claiming statements like, meth user kills and mutilates ex-boyfriend. But no, Shad was not her ex-boyfriend. They were not together in any way. This was just a casual thing for them. So after Shad's decapitated head was discovered in his mother's basement on February 23rd, 2022, and after speaking with his mother and determining that Taylor was possibly the last person to see him alive, the hunt was on for Taylor Schabusiness. Luckily, it didn't take long to locate her because she was at her apartment complex. So
she just went home.
She just went home, yeah. When police found her, she was covered in blood, and she had cuts and scratches on her left hand and both arms. They also discovered Taylor's minivan, which they looked in, and they found a crock-pot box. And when they opened up the crock-pot box, there was a human leg in it.
In the box?
In the
or
box.
In the crock-pot in the box?
In the crock-pot box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where was the crock-pot?
I don't know.
I don't want to know.
Yeah. She took boxes from the basement to transport him, parts of him. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Police ultimately take Taylor into custody, and they are able to get one of the wildest interrogation videos I have ever seen. And I'm going to get into that when we begin talking about the trial and what happened. But spoiler alert, she confesses and she fucks herself. I mean, good for her.
Yes.
Love that for her. So yeah, after she confesses, she's put in jail and she's awaiting trial. On Valentine's Day, 2023, a routine hearing was held for a motion to push back the trial date in order for experts to have enough time to determine Taylor's competency to stand trial, which this is pretty standard. Trials get pushed back all the time. Apparently, this new development greatly angered Taylor because she then decided to attack her defense attorney, Quinn Jolly. And she was only stopped when a sheriff's officer tackled her to the ground. There's actually video footage of this, and it's wild. She's just sitting there all calmly, and then out of nowhere, she just straight up lunges at her attorney with her handcuffs on and starts beating him up with her hands handcuffed.
Do you think that was planned to make her look even more crazy?
I don't know. I think with all of her untreated mental illness and also the effects of meth, because meth changes your brain, yeah. I think she's legit. She's fucking gone. She's gone. Yep, she's gone, girl. Now, immediately after the attack, her attorney ends up filing a motion to be removed from the case, which was granted. So Quinn Jolly was replaced by another defense attorney, Christopher Froelich. So trial hasn't even started yet, and already we've got a shit show going on. So before trial, Taylor undergoes several psychological exams, and she is ultimately found competent to stand trial in the beginning of July 2023.
That's shocking.
Yeah. It's shocking, but not surprising. Like, they find everybody competent to stand trial. And with that, in July of 2023, the trial of Taylor Schabusiness begins. Taylor and her attorneys took the position that Taylor was not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect, which pretty much never sticks. People have tried to use that. They've tried to use that defense all the time. It pretty much never works. One of the biggest challenges that the prosecution faced was intent. Did Taylor intend to kill Shad, or was this just a meth-fueled spur-of-the-moment decision caused by an accident? And as it so happens, the trial, which was televised, revealed tons of fucked up information that was previously not known to the public. Oh. During the trial, jurors learned that Taylor had a somewhat questionable Google search history, which included searches for Jeffrey Dahmer's butt and, quote, Jeffrey Dahmer walking into court all sexy.
So your Google search history. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no.
Take that out. I'm just kidding. Just joking. No, but Jeffrey Dahmer's butt.
Jeffrey Dahmer's butt and Jeffrey Dahmer walking into court all sexy. I'm not making this up. This is actually televised.
I believe you.
In the trial.
I didn't know anyone actually found Jeffrey Dahmer remotely sexy at all.
Taylor Schabusiness did.
God bless. No, don't. I'm not going to say my God bless her. I'm not going to. No, fuck her.
Yeah. Taylor was apparently obsessed with Jeffrey Dahmer, which is interesting considering the style of the murder. It's very Jeffrey Dahmer-esque. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you'll see why I say that in a second. And yeah, when I say she was obsessed with Jeffrey Dahmer, I'm talking there was even a photo of her lying next to a cell phone with a photo of Jeffrey Dahmer next to her head. Like she created this weird fucking makeshift selfie with him. And I swear I'm not making this up. This is actually on the internet. Like she's laying on a bed. She's holding up another cell phone with Jeffrey Dahmer's picture on it. And she's smiling like she's taking a selfie with Jeffrey Dahmer.
Like fangirling.
Yeah. There's no words. All right.
Selfie with a cell phone.
Oh, Jesus. But as disturbing as her fascination with the Milwaukee cannibal was, nothing tops the insanity that was the testimony of the medical examiner and his breakdown of exactly what Taylor did to Shad. And that pieced together with Taylor's own interrogation and confession, we finally got the complete picture of what went down that day/night. And here's where I'm gonna insert obligatory trigger warning because this is fucking gnarly. And like I said before, if you don't have a strong stomach, this ain't for you. Okay? But for the hardcore true crime peeps, here we go.
Time out. I'm going to go step outside.
Okay. I was like, wait, are you serious? You might need to step outside after, but
I'll be good. Let me get a sip of Starbucks. Wait.
You know what? I should probably wet my whistle as well.
Wet your whistle. If I would be okay if I had some chips and salsa from Chili's because that would be my comfort. But that's okay.
You might not want that while you're listening to this. You might want a puke bucket instead because this is like next level crazy. So, on the night of February 21st, 2020, Taylor picked Shad up from his mother's house and then drove back to her apartment where they engaged in smoking marijuana, smoking methamphetamine, and also injecting trazodone.
What?
Yeah. Apparently, I guess with the whole meth and trazodone type thing, I guess meth, like, I guess if you use the two together, you can kind of like bring yourself back and I don't know. It's fucking weird. I think is it like a sedative kind of?
Yeah.
I bet what was going on is the meth makes them like real fueled up and crazy and then they were injecting trazodone to kind of even it out. I don't know. I'm not a drug user, so I can only speculate.
Wouldn't that like counteract? I don't know. That all sounds super dumb, but okay.
It is super dumb.
It's a lot.
Apparently her roommate was there using with them, but left the two alone after a period of time. And this is when they allegedly started injecting the trazodone together. So sometime after the drug bender, they returned back to Shad's house where they engaged in, quote, rough sex. Now, according to Taylor, her and Shad had a thing where they engaged in erotic asphyxiation. And she states that they had done this multiple times prior to this incident. Again, this is according to Taylor, so I would take all that with a grain of salt. But, I mean, who knows? Maybe that was their kink. I don't know. So, as they were participating in erotic asphyxiation using metal chains, Taylor randomly decided to start choking Shad with a chain that Taylor described as a, quote, dog's choke collar. Yeah.
Oh.
And she choked him with this until he started coughing up blood and then eventually started turning different shades of blue and purple before losing consciousness and ultimately dying. And apparently, Taylor, in her meth-induced state, thought this was really cool, seeing his face turn different colors. So she would like stop doing it and let's do it again. And then like she liked seeing his face turn different colors of blue and purple. So one would think that Taylor would have ended the night after this, but no, she was just getting started.
With a last name like Schabusiness, of course, she was just getting started.
She means Schabusiness, you know. After strangling Shad to death, which according to Taylor took about 5 minutes. Huh?
Did you say strangling?
Did
Shad?
I thought I said well, maybe I did.
I don't know. Sorry, say it again because it sounded awesome, but it sounded like strangling Shad.
Strangling.
It also could be my ears. I'm sorry.
After strangling Shad to death, which according to Taylor took about 5 minutes, she then had sex with Shad's corpse and also violated him in the mouth and anal cavity with a dildo. After defiling the body sexually, Taylor began to systematically dismember Shad using knives found in the kitchen upstairs in the home. So his mom's kitchen knives. She started with his head, which she completely severed from the body. She then essentially flayed Shad's back, meaning she completely removed the skin as well as muscles in the back, leaving his rib cage and spine completely visible.
She filleted him.
Yes, correct. His torso was cut in half from neck to groin, and the organs were removed, which provided Taylor with access to the chest and abdominal cavity, which she used to place Shad's severed left foot. So
just the left one.
Just the left one. She put his foot in his abdominal cavity.
Okay.
Yeah. All of the skin and tissue on
Wait. She took the organs out and put his foot in.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't
She
want to mention this, but I am.
She hollowed it out and put a foot in. We don't know why.
All right. Math is why.
Yeah. All of the skin and tissue on Shad's right leg had been removed down to the bone. Taylor then castrated the body and stated that she was, quote, sucking and cutting at the same time. She then placed those body parts in a bucket. Next, she took Shad's decapitated head and placed it in the bucket on top of the penis and testicles. The bucket also contained other, quote, various bodily fluids, including spinal fluid, water, and a half-eaten Jolly Rancher that Taylor apparently spit into the bucket as she was placing the body parts in it. Taylor then spent time cuddling in bed with Shad's headless corpse before continuing her work, placing various organs in bags and cardboard boxes that she found in the basement. You doing all right?
I need a minute.
It's a lot.
No, I'm okay. This is
brutal. This is something that you don't really see from females.
This is like a horror movie that you would love.
This is why they call her Lady Dahmer.
Oh, she probably loves that name.
I'm sure she does. It was also revealed in court that Shad's remains were essentially bloodless. And this is because Taylor allegedly saved Shad's blood after dismembering him and then showered with it.
It did say that she was covered in blood in her apartment.
Correct.
They meant like covered.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
The interrogation tape of Taylor Schabusiness is also played in court for the jury, and it's a fucking doozy. She admits to strangling Shad. She admits to playing with his body for about 2 to 3 hours. She admits dismembering him with kitchen knives and also states that she enjoyed it. Throughout the interrogation, she's seen laughing.
Oh, man.
She laughs about it. She has absolutely zero remorse other than the fact that she forgot to take all of Shad's body parts with her. That's the only thing that she felt bad about, is that she left some of the body parts behind. She wanted to take all of them with her.
Well, here's my question for now.
Mm-hmm.
So Shad's mom found his head in a bucket,
mm-hmm.
right, with that other stuff, which
mm-hmm.
we now know. but they said there wasn't a lot of blood. And she
She's-
drained it.
Yeah.
But if she cuddled in his bed
Mm-hmm.
with his corpse that she had already filleted,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't there be, like, I mean, you're never going to get all the blood. Like, wouldn't there be stuff in his bed?
There was some. I don't know if you so in the beginning I mentioned the police officer said that he found some blood and human tissue by the bed.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right.
I mean there were signs like of that something happened when the police
Okay.
officer got there, but it wasn't like what you would think a crime scene like that would look like if you're dismembering somebody. And yeah.
In my head, when you said, the officer found like a few things, like in my mind, it was like a couple of chunks and like maybe 2 or 3 drops of blood. I wasn't thinking of it that way. Sorry.
It wasn't a lot, no, because she drained all his blood and took it with her.
Where the fuck did she learn how to do this shit?
I don't know.
I digress. Sorry.
Yeah, it's crazy. It really is. Yeah. But yeah, she says that she got lazy and she left some of the body parts in the basement. She originally planned on taking everything, but the murder itself and all of the dismembering that she did, I mean, that had to have taken a lot of fucking energy. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I mean, not to sound morbid, but she did a lot of shit in a small amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hacking up a body is not something that takes 5 minutes.
I can't.
And it's
imagine.
not, I mean, you got to put effort into it,
And she was
with a
only
kitchen
using-
knife.
Yeah. She was only using kitchen. I can't.
No
Take that out,
words.
please.
No words.
She was only using kitchen knives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My brain is now caught up. So, okay.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. During her interrogation, Taylor claims that she blacked out while she was choking him, which was interesting to me because she admitted to seeing his face turn blue and purple. So how can you remember what his face looked like when you're choking him if you blacked out while you were choking him? That doesn't jive.
No.
You didn't black out.
Meth.
Yeah. But okay, whatever. Taylor also told officers that she was on, quote, the bitch during the incident, which is the term that she uses for meth. She calls meth the bitch.
Okay.
Yeah. Taylor also asked investigators if they knew what it was like to love something so much that you kill it. And probably Taylor's most infamous quote from the interrogation video was, quote, have fun trying to find all of the organs.
What?
And all throughout the testimony and trial, while they're showing the pictures, Taylor just sits there with like a shit-eating smirk on her face. Like she does not give any kind of a fuck. Like she actually looks like she's enjoying it just as much as she enjoyed murdering him. I mean,
she's reliving it.
Yeah. She's also got a real punchable face too.
She does.
You saw, yeah.
Well, I Googled
her face. You guys need to pause this and Google her face because Taylor Schabusiness has probably the most fucking punchable face I have ever seen in my entire life. And it's not even like even if I looked at her not knowing what I know, I still would think she had a massively punchable face.
And Shad looks like a cute little emo.
He does. He does. Yeah.
Like a little rock and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Now, as I stated earlier, the defense was insanity, and they did their best to paint the picture of a troubled individual who had undergone multiple traumas in her life, mainly the death of her mother at a young age, and that drugs and alcohol essentially altered her brain chemistry, thus causing her to take the actions that she did the night of the murder. Defense experts testified that Taylor took the equivalent of 51 hits of methamphetamine, both smoking and injecting it in the hours before the murder, which probably caused a drug-induced psychosis. That's a lot of meth. 51 hits.
I don't know. Like,
I mean, we'll just say even 51 hits of marijuana. You'd be pretty fucked up, right?
Yes. Listen, 51 shots, you'd be dead.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, 51 hits of meth. That's not rookie numbers.
How was she alive?
I don't know. I think her body just went into a psychosis, and I don't know. Not that excuses anything, but I mean, because she chose to take the meth, so you choose your actions as well. If you're going to do a drug like that, you're responsible for your actions afterwards. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. It just is what it is. Experts also testified that Taylor had been drinking alcohol since the age of 6 and smoking marijuana at the age of 14, which ultimately led to cocaine, crack, and then methamphetamine. The defense team also argued over the sexual assault charge, and they stated that these charges should not apply as Taylor sexually assaulted Shad after he was already deceased, and that once a person is deceased, they are no longer a person as defined under the jury instructions and applicable statute.
Are you kidding?
No. Prime example of how the law can be manipulated by attorneys to fit their narrative.
That's just dumb.
Yeah, you're no longer a person, and you no longer have rights because you're dead.
Listen, I can't. Yeah.
Yeah. Regardless of the efforts of her defense team, it took a jury just a little over 30 minutes, which is wild. That's such a short amount of time.
That's like zero time.
30 minutes to convict Taylor on all counts.
Good.
Yep. First degree intentional homicide, third degree sexual assault, and mutilation of a corpse. She was subsequently sentenced by Judge Thomas Walsh to life in prison without the possibility of parole, which is my favorite sentence for someone of her magnitude. Mm-hmm. No shot at ever getting out, rotting away in prison. Love that for her. And just to add a little extra razzle-dazzle to her sentence, Judge Walsh added 2 consecutive life sentences, which added 18 extra years to her sentence. So she's never getting out.
Razzle-dazzle.
Yeah, that judge was not fucking around.
No.
Nope.
I wouldn't have been either.
Yeah, which, I mean, thank God, because she has zero show business being in the general public.
See what you did there.
I'm sorry, I had to add a little joke in there because this is a heavy episode.
That was a good one. That was a good joke, though.
But yeah, I mean, you know my thoughts on rehabilitation. However, I do not believe that in this circumstance, given the senselessness of this crime, I don't believe that she's rehabilitatable. I just don't. Now, something that I found humorous during Taylor's sentencing was that her own father testified as a character witness for his daughter. And during this testimony, he claimed that Taylor was not a monster and that she should serve time in prison for Shad's murder, but that she should have an opportunity for parole. Taylor's father also claimed that the system failed his daughter. And while he made this claim, it's important to note that Taylor's father, Arturo Coronado, was testifying virtually in an orange jumpsuit and wearing shackles because he was currently incarcerated and serving a 12-year prison sentence for second-degree sexual assault of a child.
Fuck that guy. I would definitely take his testimony on a character witness, let me tell you.
Yeah, I'll just let that sink in for a moment. Yeah. Judge Walsh also found her father's statement of the system failing his daughter incredibly ironic to say while he's sitting in prison for sexually assaulting a minor.
In shackles.
But yeah, please continue to pop off about how the system failed your child and not you. Make it make sense.
How about the system failed the child that you assaulted?
Yeah. Another fun fact about the sentencing hearing is that Taylor was made to wear a spit hood, which I had never seen before. She had to wear a spit hood in court because they were apparently having issues with her spitting on people.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's fucking gross.
She's a mess. And we actually have some recent developments on Miss Schabusiness as of December 18, 2024. So just like, well, a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Taylor is now apparently facing a brand new charge for assaulting a sergeant at the correctional institution that she is housed at, where she's carrying out her sentence. And according to court records, Taylor allegedly lunged at the sergeant on July 24, 2024, causing injuries to her head, ribs, and arm. A witness to the attack stated that Taylor was laughing for no reason prior to the attack. So...
Wow, just like the lawyer.
Miss Schabusiness is still up to her shenanigans.
I can't.
But yeah, again, it's pretty safe to say that I don't foresee Taylor ever achieving rehabilitation status.
She should probably be in solitary.
Yeah, she doesn't need to be around anybody. She really doesn't. She's like a wild animal.
It sounds like
she really is. She's got no business being around anybody. I don't know.
Show business?
Yeah. One could argue that the years of daily meth use caused her to become this way, but even so, is there any fixing that?
No, because you already said earlier, it changes your brain.
Yes, meth does permanent and irreversible damage to your brain.
Right.
So I don't even think if she wanted to be rehabilitated that you could successfully rehabilitate her.
No,
I think
fucked.
she's just gone.
Fucked.
She just fucked her brain up.
But her brain was already
she was already having issues.
Right.
So
I was trying to say that in like a polite way. Like she had lots of mental issues.
Well, untreated mental illness is bad enough.
Right.
And then when you add drugs into the mix, that's like...
And she wasn't taking her medication for her mental illness on top of that.
And I'm going to end this episode with one of my favorite quotes of all time from a sentencing hearing. And this comes from Shad Thyrion's uncle, Kelly Thyrion, who said in front of the judge and courtroom and everyone, and I quote, "I will pray that you meet the same fate as your idol, Jeffrey Dahmer. So have a great life, shit business."
Okay. I like that guy.
The scream I scrumped when I heard that.
You're
fucking legendary. I was like, yes! Shit business.
Shit business. Oh.
Yeah.
Man, that was a story, and I don't feel like that's the end of things that we
I don't either.
About.
I think you're going to continue to hear just her raging in court. I just...
Man.
I mean, not in court. I think we're going to continue to hear her raging from behind bars. You're right. I don't think it's over. I think that as long as she is still breathing, she's going to be fighting.
Listen, she is exactly what you said, like a wild animal.
Yeah.
Like an angry beaver.
Yeah.
Wild. Yeah.
I think the only way that you're going to have success with her is if she's just fully sedated all the time. You're going to have to trank her up all day, every day.
She liked to shoot up that trazodone, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Give her that. Let her do it.
Yeah, I just hope she doesn't kill somebody else in prison. But I'm hoping that with all of this going on recently that they're going to up the security with her.
If they don't, they're idiots.
If they don't, that's on them. I mean, you know that someone is crazy fucking dangerous. So, yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
It's wild. But yeah, starting off the new year with a banger.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to ya.
Yeah, enjoy your new year. Fuck you, 2024, 2025. We're coming at you full force.
Yeah, we're cutting up over here.
Bang,
literally.
Bang. Oh. Schabusiness was cutting up. We're just telling about it.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
That was a rough one. Man, the mental images that went through my head.
Yeah.
Shit.
It's a lot. Shit business.
Shit business. Please name this episode
Shit Business?
Something shit business.
I was going back and forth because I was like, should I call this Lady Dahmer? Should I call it what should I call it?
Don't give her that credit.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I like Jeffrey Dahmer either. He was also a piece of shit. But
yeah, I was gonna say
she idolized him, so I feel like to call her Lady Dahmer would be a nod to her in a way.
Maybe I'll just call it Taylor Schabusiness.
Taylor Shit Business.
Taylor Shit Business.
Taylor Sha, and then in parentheses shit and parentheses.
You know what
business.
would really piss her off if she knew about it?
What?
Is if I just called her by her real legal name.
Oh, do it. Even better.
Taylor Coronado.
Coronado.
You know what's really sad is that's actually a very pretty name. Taylor Coronado.
It is
I think that's a gorgeous name. And then she went and fucked it up and was like, no, I'm going to change it to Taylor Schabusiness.
It sounds like a pretty girl from the West Coast.
It does. Taylor Coronado.
Yeah.
But, I mean, she just fucked herself all up.
Don't do drugs, kids.
It's like she was just born for destruction and downfall. You know what I mean? Like, some people are just, I don't know. They're just put on the earth to fuck shit up, I feel like.
Yeah. And then they don't help themselves because they get into drugs. And I feel like I can't even talk today. That was a lot.
Yeah. Don't do... Holy shit.
Excuse me.
Bless ya.
Thanks. I scared your dog.
But yeah, don't do drugs, guys. Drugs are bad, okay?
Drugs are bad.
Drugs are bad, okay? But no, they really are. Don't fucking do them.
Yeah, especially 51 fucking hits of meth.
Jeez.
Don't even do one.
That's just, I can't even.
Put the weed pen down after 2 hits.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait.
I have a medical card that says I can have it.
Thank you guys for listening. We hope you had a great holiday season and New Year. And I hope that everybody's 2025 is way fucking better than what 2024 was.
Agreed. Happy New Year. Get out there and get them.
Get out and get them.
Get on get. See you next Tuesday.
But don't be one.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. That's kind of the sound that Nosferatu made in the movie. He would breathe and he'd be like...
That's the Dracula guy?
Yes. Please go see that movie. It's so fucking good.